So we're here with the stars of second best exotic Marigold Hotel. Can you tell us a bit about how your characters progressed from the first film?
Well, mine, as you remember in the first, she was a pretty tough lady with a heart of gold, hopefully that you could sense, who was trying to get her son to get his act together and was very disapproving of the daughter-in-law, but who'd had obviously a hard life, sort of a bit of a sad life for the last so many years. So suddenly in the next one, firstly as an actor I was pleased because it was a bigger part. And suddenly she had a romance in her life, and so there was another aspect, another dimension to her character, which suddenly, which could come out now in the new one. And I love the way the part was written because it was within the framework of the old Mrs. Kapoor, who was still very much her own person and very dignified, and in her own manner, she decides to go for the romance. But it was not like a young schoolgirl, so she didn't change her personality. She just remained the same with Sunny. She softened a bit towards Sunny, and she softened towards Sunena, who was doing a very good job at the hotel. But even in the romance, she stayed in character. She didn't start swooning just because an attractive man suddenly sort of showed interest in her, even though it had been after a long time. So she was. And it was very written in such a way that it was very understated, the romance. And it was how a mature couple would sort of awkwardly try to get involved with each other. So I liked that. It was very realistic, and he was great fun to play off, Richard Gere. I thought he suited the role perfectly. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed the way the sequel developed also, or rather the companion piece, as John calls it, because it took all the actors, all the characters in a completely different direction from what you thought might happen to them, including Mrs. Kapoor, but even the other ones. So that kept the intrigue of the second part going. Otherwise you think, it's just a continuation of the same story, and then that would not have made it that interesting. I thought from the script that it was actually at least as well written, if not even better written than the first.
Excellent. And Tina, for you, tell us about your character in this film. And you have obviously a big wedding as well. How was that?
Big wedding. Sunena's now working at the hotel. She's not in the call center anymore, so she's now a very central part of Sunny's life. But what I find the funniest is that she's now in a committed relationship. She's preparing to get married to the guy, and so you think that there's a lot of security and balance and stability in her life. But Sunny being Sunny, he's still making sure that her life is still unsettled, not preparing for the wedding, not completely trusting her. He still thinks that, she might be in love with someone else. And so even I like the mix of her trying to find a stable life or live the stable life while, he throws the balance out. So I like that. I like that she's now someone who's also, in addition to the mother, trying to shape his life and his decisions and, be the backbone and everything. So I like that. And the wedding is just a major part of the film. It's all the stories are intertwined. Everyone's involving themselves in the process. So I like that the sequel is a giant party.
Excellent. Now, being Indian myself, I think it was great to see two strong female Indian characters on screen, and it's rare to find that. What do you think it is about these characters that makes them so strong, and do you think it's a fair representation of women in India at the moment?
I think, in fact, it's a very balanced representation, because this particular lady is someone is a prototype I know very well, and I like the way that's what I was saying. Even in the love story, there is dignity, there is maturity, there is elegance, there's grace, and yet she's strong. You know that she calls the shots. She wears the sari, but underneath she's wearing the pants. So she's strong, which is how Indian women are. They know that they don't have to be aggressive. They're strong and they get their way, but it doesn't have to be in a very, very aggressive manner. That inside that sari they have a spine of steel. So I think that's so correct, the way Mrs. Kapoor is depicted. I love playing her. I thought she was. I felt proud that an Indian woman had been represented like that. So even when she gets involved in something, it's very in a very subtle and dignified way. And there's nothing overt. There's nothing in your face at all. And similarly with her
Sunaina's
character,
is
Sunaina's
also
character,
very,
yeah.
very. I think all girls my generation are like that. You know, the ones who are modern, who are ambitious, who have the mind of their own, doing their own thing, fighting for what they believe in, but at the same time being respectful towards elders, being culturally inclined. So that balance that exists very clearly in modern India.
Even the
I think that's what's
relationship between
happening.
Sunny and his mother,
Yeah.
you know, it's modern. He says what she wants, and he's outrageous. He says anything that comes to mind, but the relationship is very clear. She's the mother, and he can try to step out of line sometimes, but you know, he respects her and he listens to her, and that equation of how it is in India, that you know, you just give that respect to your elders and your parents, and it's in your DNA.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!